Om Shanti. How are you all? Hope you are doing fine. In this video, we are going to reveal a profound secret that is unknown to anybody in this world till this date. What is that? If somebody is wishing us good luck, do they really mean it? Or they just say it for the sake of it? But when somebody curses, of course they mean it. They really want that curse to happen. But that is not the case with blessings. And very rarely people bless during the birthdays, marriage, and during promotions like that. But even then, only very few, maybe your family member, your close friends, only they bless you wholeheartedly. The rest of them, they do it just for the sake of it. And even the ones who blessed you very sincerely, they are not going to do it all the time. So their blessing will be lasting only for a minute or two. But the people who curse you, the time, the duration of their cursing is going to extend like hours, days, weeks, sometimes even years. So think about the effect both these blessings and curses are going to have on you. Obviously, the impact of the curse will be enormous compared to that of blessing. Why? Because the amount of blessing itself is very less from very few people, and it's going to last for very little time. But the curse that we have been accumulating for several births, or even if you take just this birth, that's going to be enormous. And the number of people that curses increases day by day as we grow older. So that is the main reason we suffer in the latter part of our life. Not only that, that is the main reason why many students can't study. Only very few study. That is probably due to the fact that the ones who can study well might be the ones who took birth very recently, and all the rest, they would be taking birth, they would have taken several births. So they have got more curses. So what happens after getting those curses is they bombard us in the form of thoughts, emotions, in a very subtle form that we don't even know it. Our mind needs to focus on something to achieve success. But for those who have got many curses, they couldn't focus their mind on anything. Because, for example, if a student wants to study and sits to study, what happens is he wants to focus his attention on the study, but what happens is he's blocked. He all of a sudden forget that he has to study. Instead, his mind is carried away with other forms of thoughts, sometimes with no thoughts, but still he couldn't put his attention on studies. All because of the curses this student has accumulated in his past births. That's the main reason in a school, if all the students of a class are given 10 minutes time to go through a page of some study, after that if a teacher conducts a test, not everybody gets 100%. Very few, or most of the time just one or even not one of them is getting that, and one will be getting the last mark, one will be getting the first mark, and everybody else is in between. So why is this difference? Because people think everybody is capable of doing anything they want. If that were the case, then everybody should have got the same mark, because the same teacher teaches and every student in the class is given the same amount of time, they are in the same environment, but still they couldn't score good marks. So what is the difference here? The lack of concentration. So the reason is the amount of curse they have accumulated due to these sins. So the curse, it is very difficult to understand the curses that we get. One could be very open, like somebody is getting angry and they are just cursing us that you will die, you will not live a happy life, you will suffer, you will meet with an accident. So these things we can understand. But there are other curses that we can't understand. For example, if a girl is dressed more glamorously and walk in the street, and several guys would look at her lustfully, and one of them possibly will become a rapist in the future. For him to become a raper or rapist, this girl is also one of the reasons. So here, when he get arrested for his act, or he got punished in any other form, he will start thinking of how he became like that. So he will be cursing his parents for not nurturing him properly. Of course, they are cursed directly, but all in his life he may have come across bad movies that tempts him to commit such crime, and he would have come across several friends who encourages him to do such acts, and the girl I just mentioned. So he would have seen many such girls. So everybody will share the curse given by him when he suffers. He need not curse. When he suffers due to the punishment, for example, he is imprisoned and in the end he is hung up for death. So obviously he would have suffered a lot for those 5 or 10 years in the prison. So during those times, all the shame and all sorts of suffering he's been going through, so that itself will be the curse for everybody who has made him turn into a rapist. So now you can understand how subtle the curse is. And even a child, if it cries or if it shouts very happily, and the neighbor, if somebody is trying to focus on studying, or if somebody is very elderly, they couldn't sleep, obviously they would be thinking, why is this baby shouting all the time? That is also a curse. So you may have treated your servants very badly. You may have treated your co-workers or those who work under you very badly, as if in your point of view you are good because you want to get work out of them, so you are strict. But still, after getting punished or um, shouted at by you, their mindset will be very disturbed. Even after going home, they would be thinking about all the harsh words you used against them. So that may leave them sleepless, peaceless. All these becomes a curse for you, for which you will definitely be facing the consequences either in this life or the next life. But the punishment is sure for you. And do you know how this curse works against you? So you can understand it from the example from Hindu scriptures. There's an instance when Indra plays dice with his wife and he loses the game. His fellow men mock at him. So he gets furious and he shouts that there is no chance that he fails. His wife must have cheated on him. So he gets angry and he wants to see a dance so that he gets peace. His wife forbids him to leave because he's already peaceless. But he refuses, saying that he has control over his mind, and he proceeds. On his way, he is attracted by this fragrance coming from somewhere, some flower. So he asks his fellow men to get him that flower, and his fellow men replies that it is impossible to pluck the flower from this place, which makes Indra very angry, because he is the king of heaven. When he has no permission, it makes him very angry. At that moment, a rishi, a saint famous for cursing, Saint Durvasa, comes, and his fellow men say that Durvasa Rishi is coming. On hearing this, Indra becomes more and more egoistic, saying that, so what? If Durvasa comes, should I get down and fall on his feet or what? I'm the king of heaven. Why should I bother about anybody? So this Saint Durvasa, he was very happy on seeing Indra, and he has this garland of flowers which just few moments back Indra wanted to have. And Durvasa saint has got this flower garland by doing intense meditation. And now he says he is just a saint, renunciate. He doesn't want anything for him. So he wants to give this as a gift to Indra so that he and all the residents of heaven can have a benefit of it. And he hands over to Indra. Indra was sitting on this divine elephant called Airavat, and he doesn't even care to see Durvasa. And that garland was on the head of the elephant. The elephant picks up the garland and throws it on the ground, and it places its feet on it. So it is obviously an insult for Durvasa. Durvasa gets really angry and he curses Indra, saying that it is because of his status, the king of heaven, that makes him so egoistic. So he will lose all the treasures of his kingdom, and he and all the residents of heaven will also suffer. They will all be depleted of their wealth, health, beauty, everything. At that very instant, he loses everything. This is how the curse works. But I forgot to tell you what happens in the beginning of this. Because before that, you know, in all Hindu Purana stories, there will be constantly fight between devas and asuras, that is deities and demons. So to conquer the deities, thereby their heaven, Sukracharya trains a student called Rahu. And Rahu wants to fight because he has got all the skills required to fight against Indra. But his teacher, Sukracharya, says that they need to do a tapas, meditation, so that they can be doubly sure that they can easily conquer deities. What is that meditation is about? It is about instilling egoism into the deities. So how do they perform? So they call it yajna, where they create this sacrificial fire and they sacrifice really expensive things into that. They will normally conduct tapasya with some goal in their mind, like for world peace or to become immortal, like that. But this specific tapasya conducted by Sukracharya and Rahu is exclusively to defeat deities. How? By instilling ego in them. When they become egoistic, obviously they will be cursed by the saints. That's their plan. It worked out. When how did he do that yajna? By creating this thought continuously. He should get angry, he should become egoistic, he should become egoistic, he should become egoistic. So that is how the curse works. So this is an imaginary story, but with a strong truth. This is how it works. We might have misbehaved a lot in our past births, and we would have got their curse that we should suffer a lot. That's the curse. But how does it work? by creating ego, anger, lust, attachment, jealousy within us. How is it possible? The situation will be such that you will be falling for lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego. That is how we get cursed from others. So already we are cursed, and that curse will make us act in a way we get more and more curses. So obviously we will suffer like Indra does. So though that Purana story is an imaginary story, but it actually represents what happened to us in the past 5000 years. This is the time cycle of 5000 years called Kalpa, in which the first 2500 years is heaven. This same earth, especially India, was heaven. And we were deities for the first 2500 years. After taking several rebirths, after the completion of first 2500 years, this world becomes hell gradually. How? Because we start getting addicted to these 5 vices. Thereby we get more and more curses. We commit more and more sins due to these curses, because of which we are punished by getting several diseases, by several failure in relationships, by our poverty and by natural calamities. And God says this story in the end when He comes and takes an old man's body. Till then God was residing in a place called Parandham or Parlok or Supreme Abode or the soul world, where we souls before taking birth resided along with God. This is our sweet home. The only difference between we souls and the Supreme Soul God is we enter this birth and death cycle, God stays away from it. But He has to come in the end because only He has this knowledge. Why does He have to give this knowledge? Because only by knowing this knowledge, we will come to know our past, present and future. Yes, we were deities in the past. We have lost everything now because of these 5 vices, and we are going to become deities because this world is going to be converted to heaven again. So that will happen for sure. So what should we do? We should become eligible to enter. How to become eligible? While in heaven, we didn't know what lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego were. These 5 vices were completely absent there. That is why it was heaven. That is why we had beauty, peace, bliss, wealth, everything as a gift, because we didn't have these vices. These vices were collectively called Maya or Satan or Ravan. These 5 vices that is present both in men and women combinedly called 10-headed Ravan. Other than that, nobody existed with 10 heads as depicted in Ramayana. So how can we get rid of these 5 vices and become as pure as God? Just by connecting our mind as much as possible with the one God, who exists as a point of light. Before that, we need to consider ourselves to be this imperishable soul that shines like a tiny star in between our eyebrows. We are the ones who operate this body and we are not this body. It is the soul that operates this body. It is this indestructible, everlasting soul that operates this body. And it is the soul who we really are. We got to remind ourselves about this all the time, as much as possible. Consider ourselves to be the soul and connect our mind to our beloved Father, God Shiva. And he is called Allah by Muslims, Heavenly Godfather by Christians. God is one. And everybody else who takes birth in earth can never be called God, because God doesn't take birth like us. He enters an old man's body directly just to give this knowledge. That's it. He doesn't enjoy or suffer in this world. He stays away from that. As I mentioned earlier, we have been getting cursed for the past 2500 years, because in heaven obviously we wouldn't be cursed, because we wouldn't be committing any sins. Now our account of curse is very, very large compared to the account of blessings. So now what we need to do is to destroy the curse and increase the blessings. How to do that? Nobody here on earth is going to bless us, because everybody is filled with curse. They can only give what they have, so they will just curse you. So now it is only you who needs to take care of increasing your blessings by blessing yourself. And God teaches how to do that. So, if a beautiful girl comes in front of you, you get disturbed, right? Wow, how beautiful she is. When you get disturbed, it means you are cursing yourself. When some situation makes you angry, when you get disturbed inside, it means you are cursing yourself, because anything you are going to do out of anger, that's going to put you into more and more trouble. Anything you are going to act out of lust, like rape, obviously you are going to face a lot of consequences. So, remember. But one thing, this is hell. Obviously you will be bombarded with situations that's going to make you feel lustful, feel angry, feel attached, feel jealous, feel egoistic. And any instance you feel lustful or anger, or when you fall for any of these vices, you got to remind yourself, somebody's curse that you got in your past is in full progress now. So you got to protect yourself. How do you do that? You need to bless yourself. You need to fill yourself with blessings. Only you can do that. How? When you feel lustful, it's a curse. So blessing is to be pure, by saying to yourself that you are a very pure soul. Because when you see a beautiful girl, in your mind unconsciously you are saying that I am attracted to her. I have fallen in lust with her, which means I am a lustful soul, which is a curse for you. Instead, when you say you are a pure soul, you are not one of those who had such bad attitude on seeing beautiful girls. So you are as pure as our beloved Father God. So you have to constantly say this to you all the time, so that your mind is reprogrammed to think like a deity. Likewise, when you get anger, you are cursing yourself. So what is the opposite of anger? Peace. I'm a peaceful soul. You got to say this over and over again, not only when you confront such situation, even when you are alone doing nothing or doing something. You got to keep your mind busy repeating these powerful positive thoughts, powerful blessing thoughts, like I'm a pure soul, I'm a peaceful soul. Likewise, if you feel yourself attached to some person or object or your talent, that will definitely cause you pain in the end. So, to protect yourself from that curse, you got to instill this pure thought. I'm an independent soul, unattached to anything, no matter what. Likewise, you got to repeat these powerful thoughts over and over again, like the devotees used to chant a mantra over and over again. Only difference is they chant repeatedly without knowing the meaning, thereby they don't reap the fruit of it. But you repeat it knowing the meaning of it, thereby it becomes your true nature, so you reap the full benefit of it. What is that? What is the fruit? Total transformation of you into a deity. Even before leaving this body, you exhibit the divine qualities that attract everybody towards you. Though you need to keep on repeating these thoughts to yourself throughout the day, the best time to start doing this is the early morning from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. If you can't wake up at 2 a.m., at least wake up at 4 a.m. Of course, it's going to be hard initially. The reason for you become so lazy in the early morning is also a curse. So, how to get rid of the curse? By repeating these thoughts before you go to bed. And always keep alarm, because that shows how committed you are to waking early. Only then even God will help you to wake you up early. He will wake you up. So, you may feel lazy, but don't worry. As soon as the ring goes, you just wake up, sit on your bed, and immediately stand up. Don't go back to sleeping position. Just take a walk to all the rooms in your house, and then wash your face and come back and sit in your room with the lights on. Then you will see yourself very fresh. That is when you need to have these thoughts and start remembering God as a point of light. And also you need to listen to God's knowledge, because He comes in the end to give His knowledge called Murli, which is available in all languages in websites, and also it is available in all Raj Yoga meditation centers, the details of which is given in the description. So you must not miss even single Murli. It comes daily. So you go through the Murlis in that website link I have given in the description. So you need to repeat important points from Murli. So Murli will be basically makes you progress in becoming soul conscious again, because we were soul conscious there. We would consider ourselves to be souls, because of which we experience the intense blissfulness, because that's the true nature of the soul. So that is why we didn't get attracted to the external things for the first 2500 years. But when we entered hell, we lose soul consciousness, because of which we become body consciousness, and thereby getting attracted to everything we see, hear. So we become addicted to sensual pleasures basically. That is why we started committing sins. So only way to burn all our past sins is to remember God as a point of light, and to bless ourselves repeatedly with these pure thoughts over and over again, to the point that the number of blessings exceeds the number of curses. You do not know for sure how many curses are hitting at you in a subtle form. That is why we need to continuously repeat these blessings. I'm a pure soul, I'm a peaceful soul, I'm a blissful soul. In addition, you can repeat all important Murli points. Just by repeating it, you will feel yourself so blissful. Experience it, then you will know the truth of it. Om Shanti. Thanks for being with me. Please do like this video. If you like this video, hit on the like button, share this with your friends and families, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section below, and do subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks again.